Welcome to 3DLANES number 78. Today, we're recording this June 7th, 2026. And this weekend didn't go as expected. I wanted to go take photos. I wanted to dust off the medium format camera, go to Morning Motors. It's a cars and coffee that Driving Will Awesome puts together. And I wanted to go take photos, maybe some black and white 35 millimeter photos, but no, it did not happen. I had a paper and a discussion post due today. I finished them last night. So I was like, it's fine. We'll we're right on time, right on target. Oh, no, no, no. But before that, let me backtrack because I wanted to go to the collective horology open house in LA, and it was planned. It was about to be done. I even got a deal in the hotel, but because I was behind with homework, you know, work has been taking the 5 days a week that I have, even weekend times. I've been stuck with doing work, so homework, it's kind of like taking a back burner spot, but not really, because I have to finish, and I'm so close to finishing with better grades than my undergrad, which was a goal for me because coming from where I'm coming, I didn't have the opportunity to have like a set environment per se. It was more, um, I live with my cousin, and sometimes in the garage, sometimes on the couch, sleeping there. I didn't have a specific spot where to do homework, so I would go to Starbucks or stay at the library at the community college. I used to go to two different colleges, work in the morning, before class, go to class, work after class, and then go to school again. But I'm not saying these things to for anybody to feel bad about me, but it's more like having the support system behind makes a huge difference. Because right now I have two kids, a wife, bills to pay, work that's way more difficult than when I was in community college. But I still get to do my work, my homework better, my work from work. I get to do it well and still get good grades. I don't think it was the capability of doing it or not doing it, but more so the support system behind. So I sidetracked quite a bit, but I was gonna go to collective orology open house. I did not go because of homework. So I made a decision, executive decision. It was going to be a trip with my wife, and we were going to go together and have a weekend together. But no, I was behind. So I was like, you know what? I'm sorry, but I can't. And it's not like I'm letting her down. I'm letting myself down because it was a trip that I wanted to take. Then, quote unquote, consolation prize was going to be to go to the Cars and Coffee from Driving Will Awesome, the Morning Motors. But we went on a date night to this Mexican restaurant, which is somehow, not high end, but, not cheap either. But the food was not great. I'm not going to say the name of the restaurant, but man, I had such a hard time falling asleep. By the time I woke up, it was like 8:30 p.m. Uh the Cars and Coffee was at 9, somehow like an hour away from here. So by the time I would gotten ready and gone, and I didn't want to leave my wife behind either because that wouldn't have been fair. She wanted to go too. But by the time we both would be ready and leaving, it would have been, you know, almost 10 a.m. So halfway through it, if not past 10, and it was a mess. So kind of a disappointment of a weekend. But today, after all my rambling, today in 78, we're talking about something. Well, if you have noticed, the topics now are a little different, but it's because I want to analyze a little better all these subjects. I just don't want to make it a lecture because sometimes I would listen to the episode because I want to understand where my shortcomings are when it comes to speaking. And sometimes the data comes across, it's too dense and it comes across like it's a lecture. And I don't want that to happen. So this time, we'll be analyzing uh, watch, car, and photography companies that had potential. Keyword here is potential to earn higher rate of profit than their direct competitors, but they didn't. I'm not saying that the brands were not successful. I'm not saying that they didn't do something, but they had a potential to earn higher profit than the competitors, but couldn't do it or didn't execute. So that's the topic from today. And it comes down to something like companies that have the ingredients for superior profits. You know, they have the brand, they have the tech, they have the distribution, the pricing power, manufacturing advantage, but they could not convert. They kind of choked out. And we'll see what companies are here on this list that I put together. But the first one is a photography company, and it's Kodak, Eastman Kodak. And Eastman Kodak had high profit potential. Why? Because there were and they are one of the strongest brands in photography. I would argue that they still are to me. They have they had massive distribution at the time, right? Like which I don't know, maybe early 2000s. The the patents and technical expertise in photography, they had it. They had a dominant market share and they had early digital camera technology because they invented a lot of it. But why did they fail? Because Kodak was actually the number one digital camera seller in the US in 2005. That's crazy. And now they have zero presence. Kodak did have expertise when it comes to digital cameras. And it's not that they were ignorant to it, right? It's not and as far as I understood it, it was, you know, Kodak didn't do anything. They got stuck on film and they didn't act when digital cameras came to be. It's actually the opposite. They were one of the highest uh, or the number one digital camera seller in the US in 2005, right? So what was the problem? The problem was the new technology came to disrupt the whole market, right? And a lot of Japanese brands came and took over the whole thing, the camera, and you see it now. The digital camera is more so of a it's almost a commodity, right? So it's the only way why manufacturers keep you within the brand is through the ecosystem. Something that Kodak could have done way before, but they could not leverage the power that they had. So now, for example, if you buy something like a Sony camera, you have to buy the lenses that are compatible with the body, right? And if the manufacturer comes out with a new Sony camera, the new iteration is compatible with the old glass, the old lenses, right? So because of because of the camera or the new body being backwards compatible, that keeps the person within the ecosystem. And I mean, back then Kodak could have done something about, you know, storage of of photos, develop more the ecosystem, something to make the strategy for the brand less about the hardware and more about the ecosystem, how to keep the consumer within the brand. And That's something that Kodak couldn't do, and they invented a lot of the technology for the digital camera, but they still couldn't capitalize. So having the knowledge doesn't mean that you can capture the profit, which, sucks. Now Kodak's still around. They're having a second win with all this film situation, hopefully booming again. Hopefully they can get back together and the manufacturing can become better. But now film, like I mentioned in a previous episode, I think it's more of a niche photography area, more of a almost like a luxury hobby. That's my take on film photography and Kodak. Next, we move to automotive. We know Jaguar. Jaguar is another one. They were positioned before, somehow along the same level of Porsche, BMW, Mercedes, and they had the racing heritage, luxury positioning, the the brand recognition. Nowadays with the whole rebranding of the thing, I don't know how that's gonna work out, but we'll find out. And they commanded a premium pricing, so they had all the characteristics to become something like a Porsche, BMW, Mercedes. But what happened? So the Jaguar is known for quality issues. All these British cars, Land Rover too, it's known for quality issues. I've never owned any of them, so I don't know if it's true or not, but that's what people say. That's their reputation. They had frequent ownership changes, meaning people switch them all the time, and an unclear market positioning. Instead of becoming a Porsche like profit company, Jaguar was somehow a German luxury brand, or n- unlike German luxury brands, sorry, it was always positioned below them, and even the mainstream brands uh were below it. So it was like trapping between German luxury and mainstream and the mainstream. So the brand was there, but it was always been in a weird spot, and they've had the characteristics to get further, but it's it's weird, It's Jaguar has always been not known for reliable, like the Porsche engineering, German engineering, not known for that. Even though I'm pretty sure British engineering is pretty good, but still, Jaguar did not demonstrate that with their products. Next one is Saab. Saab is also cars, if you're not familiar, but this one, the potential that Saab had was the engineering identity, aviation heritage, loyal customers, because I've seen a lot of people love Saab. The Scandinavian design before it was fashionable, but I would like to highlight customers, because the customers or the people that I've seen or they speak about Saab, they don't, there's nothing bad about those cars. It's just like the brand didn't was not successful. Let's put it that way. Maybe they were not able to plan a good path forward for the brand, but the brand had pricing power, but was never fully capable of taking advantage of the brand equity that they had built, which is another weird case. Next I have is for watches, and this one is Zenith. This one is interesting because Zenith has had, because Zenith is not dead, in-house movements, and it's known for the intricacy or the how good the movements are for Zenith. But they also have El Primero movement, which at one point it was powering the Rolex Daytona. They have genuine horological credibility. Nobody can deny that. But they also have historical significance. That's undeniable too. But many people would argue that Zenith's technical credibility exceeds or matches the brands that were earning stronger margins, like Rolex. So, what happened? Inconsistent product strategy, frequent design changes, weak marketing identity, unclear positioning within the LVMH portfolio. Hard to tell, maybe all of them combined, but it feels like Zenith was more like selling movements and watches were like on the side. Instead of being like a solid brand that, it could have been like almost how JLC is regarded, I guess, because JLC is regarded as like the watchmaker's watchmaker, right? Zenith should have been the same, but obviously I'm not deep diving on each of these brands, but it's just brands that I have recognized that they don't have, they were not able to capitalize on the advantages that they had. Next watch brand is GP, Jura Perigo. I'm not really familiar with Jura Perigo, but Jura Perigo has always been kind of like stuck, kind of like Jaguar, not here, not there. They have real manufacturing capability. They're legitimate when it comes to historic uh, credibility, high in complications, and again on paper they should use a stronger position. But if you ask somebody that's not a watch enthusiast, if they recognize GP, they'll be able to recognize Rolex, maybe Omega, and possibly Cartier, but not GP. But again, it's another brand that has a lot of technical capability, but the commercial success is less than what it should. Next brand is a photography brand, which is Minolta. Minolta pioneered in autofocus, electronic integration, and ergonomics. And at some points, they were more innovative than Nikon. Sorry, innovative, innovative than the Nikon. But the company Minolta struggled to convert innovation into something that was more long-term durable. Eventually, I think this brand has disappeared. From what I've seen, it was merged with Konica. Uh, they exit the camera business, and then assets transferred to Sony. That's as far as I know. But another thing that I've seen is that, or that I've heard, is that Sony's modern camera success is partially built on foundations from uh, Minolta's success, or Minolta's creations, whatever you want to call it. But it's interesting, these brands and how they were not able to capitalize. I bet there's more. If you find that there's more, or you have any examples, let me know. I would like to keep the discussion going. I really find these interesting. This is all I have for today. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. I will see you next time.